my name is Francisca. I'll be your Haitian Creole interpreter for today.
And have you been sworn in today?
Not yet.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear to interpret
Yes,
from Creole to English and English to Creole the best of your ability, so help you God?
I do.
All right. One quick second. What's today? The 3rd? All right. Orange County Judge Adam again. It's January 3rd of 2022. Can I get appearance from the state
Taylor May on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
and the Public Defender's Office?
Letitia George on behalf of the Office of the Public Defender.
All right. And then, Madam Interpreter, if you could interpret from here on out. Ma'am, your
Yes.
name?
Madame, comment relay?
Wisna Telsai.
Wisna Telsai.
You are here in case number 22 MM4 AA.
Ou la sou ka ki gen pou numéro 22 MM4AA
Ok, merci.
One count of battery.
pou yon compte de goumen.
Oui.
I reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, and appoint the public defender.
Mwen te revize afidavia e ke mwen jwen koz ki kon lan la dani e ke yo ba ou yon avoka.
Is there anybody here for Wisna Tel Saint?
Eske gen kek moun la ki pou Wisna Telsen?
Any input from the state with regards to release?
Eske l'Etat gen yon ba li vle di quand il s'agit de relâche?
Your Honor, she is entitled to a reasonable bond. State would just ask for that. She does also qualify for PTR.
Juste nou vle fò konen ke li gen li kalifiye pou kom si pou yon bon e pi ke li kapab gen yon bagay ki PTR.
Any input from the defense?
Eske moun kap defan nan gen kek bagay pou rentre?
I believe a victim just got here, Your Honor.
This is the interpreter, Your Honor. I would like to ask for a repetition, please. I did not hear.
I believe the alleged victim is here.
Nou vle fè konen ke moun ke yo akuse de victime nan li prezant.
Oui.
Sir, do you need an interpreter?
Monsieur, ou bezon interprète tout?
Oui,
Yes.
Your name?
Wilneson
No.
Anistal. Wilneson Anistal.
Wilnerson Aniston.
You are listed as the alleged victim in this case.
Se ou menm ki la kom yon moun yo pense ki victime nan ka sa.
As the alleged victim, you're entitled to provide input with regards to her release.
Kom victime nan ou la pou kapab bay mot pa ou quand il s'agit pou yo talage li.
Is there anything that you want to tell me, anything you think I should consider in determining her release?
Eske gen kek bagay ke ou pense ou dwe dim ou ta vle m konsidere ou li pa pou m pa talage li?
Et oui, gen kek bagay men ta dwe di, et même si ap la gel.
I would like to put some input even though they are going to release her.
What do you want to tell me?
Ki sa ou vle di mwen?
Et sa mwen vle di, et pou fè ou di madame nan, le yon moun ap pala avek li, ap diskite yon bagay avek li, li pa dwe ap fè gest tire kou, morde, et puis kebe moun nan kolet, et tout bagay sa yo. Paske mwen te fè video, mwen gen video, mwen te montre polisyon.
Parti pause, s'il vous plaît.
Okay.
I would like for you to tell the lady when someone is having an argument with her, it is not okay to make some movement or threaten or even trying to bite the person, to fight with the person, to kick the person, because I have videos of what had happened.
Your Honor, may I inquire?
I got it. Sir, do you want to have contact with her?
Monsieur, est-ce que vous voulez gen capacité pour gen contact avec moun nan?
Non, mpa bezen kontak avek li, m jis bezen pou l viv pou kont pa, et puis m'a jis et gen kontak avec ti moun yo ensemble avec li seulement.
No, I do not want to have contact with this person. I just want them to live their life separately from me. I just want to be able to have contact with the children.
Do you guys live together?
Est-ce que ensemble nous vivons?
Oui, pour le moment, oui.
As of right now, yes.
State, do you have any questions for him?
Ou gen question pour monsieur?
No, Your Honor.
Moi-même?
Defense, do you have any questions for him?
Et ou même, ou l'autre, est-ce que gen question pour lui?
No, Your Honor.
No.
Third, do you care if she has to post a bond to get out of jail?
Monsieur, est-ce que ou d'accord si que li paye pour le payer yon frais pour le ka sorti dans prison?
Non, li pa besoin payer frais et yo mettre la gueule, mais ça qui est important, moi vle di pour moi, que pour pas faire violence et sous moi ou bien si n'importe moun lè parler avec lui.
Okay. She doesn't. To me, she doesn't even have to pay to get out of jail. They can let her out. However, I just want her to be aware of the violence that she needs to stop, not on me or on anyone else.
Your input the same, State?
Your Honor, just under, I assume you're asking to put her on pretrial release, just under 907041. This court, due to bad DV being a dangerous crime, this court would have to set bond with PTR. So if you are inclined to put her on PTR, state would ask for $100 with PTR.
Any input? From
This is the
defense?
interpreter. Can you please repeat the amount?
$100 plus pretrial release.
Nou vle fò konen ke pou yo kapab relâche li, même jan avec ça ki nan la gen ki se 907 7 qui c'est pour péter un lan, la gen yon frais de $100 qui c'est yon prix plus ça gen pour payer avant relâche avant procès.
No, no objection, Your Honor.
Ah, ok, comme ça, il pour payer.
Is she the one that's going to pay this fine?
Someone has to pay if she wants to get out of jail.
Si pou l'sorti nan prison, fò ki yon moun paye pou li.
Ah, ok, ben s'il pa gen moun paye la pou li la prêter parce que moi-même pa gen kob, pa payer pour li tout.
If she can't afford to pay it for herself, I'm not paying it because not only I don't have money, but I'm not paying it for her.
Your Honor, according to the statute, you can use your discretion and place my client on straight pretrial release. I would ask for straight pretrial release, given that it does not appear she is working at this time.
Your Honor,
M'a demandé au juge que vous capable utiliser comme si même j'en sam kran moi ap rentrer quand il s'agit de frais pour le payer avant pour louer la chéa parce qu'il paraît que li pa yon moun qui a travail.
I'm going to set her bond at $500 for straight pretrial release, whichever she prefers.
Et c'est ça, la prêter en prison pour le temps.
Moi ap mette
The conditions of her
moi
release.
ap Moi mette arrangement pour bon pour li laguer à $500 pour li payer quand il s'agit de avant pour laguer avant procès.
The conditions of your release are to have no contact with the alleged victim,
Sous condition y a plago là en premier lieu, ou pas supposé gen contact avec moun que yo fait connaître qui t'a semblé victime non.
do not return to the scene and maintain separate residences,
Ou pas supposé retourner sous scène côté ça t'est passé et faut qu'on habite en côté séparé.
you can return once with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve your belongings.
Ou capable retourner là yon seule fois seulement avec assistance la police pour aller ramasser affaires personnelles ou
Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons.
et ou pas supposé posséder ni exam, ni couteau, ni aucune arme blanche.
Do you want to post the bond or do you want pretrial release?
Ou pas supposé posséder ni exam, ni couteau, ni aucune arme blanche.
Do you want to post the bond or do you want pretrial release?
Ou pas supposé posséder
want to post the bond or do you want pretrial release?
Ça va faire, est-ce que vous voulez payer bon qui c'est pour $500 ou bien tout, est-ce que vous voulez seulement prendre ou ya return yo lage ou avant procès?
$500, est-ce que c'est jeudi à m'a payé avant ou la game ou bien après m'a payé?
Do I have to pay the $500 today before they release me, or can I pay it after after they release?
You would have to pay it to be released.
Fait que c'est $500 pour payer avant pour yo la go.
Oh, mais pas travail, m'pas jamais travail parce que fait mon nom gen 9 mois m'pas jamais travail. Juge la dit encore m'pas ka vivre dans kay la m'pas gen famille boy ici non plus.
Madam,
I am not working. I have never worked. I have a baby. It's been 9 months. I've never worked here. And also, you stated that I am supposed to stay in separate residency. I don't have any family here, and I don't have anywhere else to go.
Ma'am, you don't have to make the decision right now about pretrial release or bond. You can make it when you decide how you want to be released from jail. Thank you.
Madame, ou pas obligé prendre décision en kounya, est-ce que vous voulez payer bon pour laguer ou bien tout prétendre pour avant procès, ou capable de penser sur ça pour qu'on comment on pourra le faire. Merci.
Thank you for being here, sir.
Merci parce que vous êtes là, monsieur.
Vous fini?
Did you have, thank you, Madam Interpreter. Do we
You're
have
welcome.
the
Thank you for using our services. Have a great day.
private attorneys ready cases or no?
Judge Richard Hornsby, I'm ready with, for Mr. Rockensteyer's
Well, I'm just
case.
seeing if we've gotten the defendants. No? Oh, okay. So, Mr. Hornsby, your client is still medical. Looks like he's been rolled a few times. So,
Judge, I was going to ask two things. I have the victim slash wife. She's on the link.
okay.
I was going to ask if you could set conditions of release so that we can at least address that. So, because if you might be able to provide the information to his wife too about whether he's actually in the hospital or if he's in medical. We don't have any information on what's going on with him.
All right, 2022 CF 10AO. So you're going to waive your client's appearance this morning?
Yes, Judge.
All right, so one count of tampering with a witness first degree and one count of battery domestic, reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause. And then, ma'am, your name?
Jennifer Walsh.
All right. And you're listed as the alleged victim. Is there any input, anything that you want the court to consider in determining conditions of his release?
Yes, I just wanted to ask that the court, Edward and I, to contact with each other. We have therapy sessions with a counselor that we're taking advantage of, and I don't feel like he's the harm to me or my family.
Do you guys live together?
Yes,
Do you want to have contact with him?
yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Are you in fear for your safety?
No, Your Honor.
Are drugs or alcohol an issue?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. State, do you have any questions for her?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Defense, do you have any questions for her?
Miss Rockensteyer, would you be the one posting the bond if or when bond's set?
Yes.
Okay. And that's the only question I had, Judge. I did want to ask that. I know you said that you found probable cause for a first-degree felony, although I think it should be a third-degree felony tampering because it's a misdemeanor they were investigating.
Yes, Your Honor. I was going to ask that you find PC for hindering 911 calls, which is 914.22. As it's currently filed, the 914.222D is hindering in a first-degree felony, which is a life felony. And arguably in this case, it was just tampering within an M1, so it should be hindering 911 calls.
Anything else from the defense?
Judge, I'd ask you set a bond at $1,000 on the felony and $500 on the misdemeanor, and then also if the court has the information they could provide Ms. Rockensteyer about where Mr. Rockensteyer is, that would be great.
Sure. One last thing, ma'am. The defendant in this case has multiple prior arrests for battery, domestic violence. Were you the alleged victim in those cases?
No.
All right. On count one, I'll set his bond at $1,000. The conditions: no hostile contact with the alleged victim, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons, do not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. And count two, I'll set it at $100 with the same conditions. Is he here at the jail or is he at the hospital?
We don't know that, Judge. I
I'm
was hoping
asking
you might.
directions, sorry. You can't see me. He's here. Yeah, he's at the jail in medical here.
Okay, then I'll have the bond set posted then, Judge. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, your name, sir? What is it?
Some Zors.
All right, 2015 CF 15185BO, violation of probation and counsel. Is this Mr. Cohen's case?
Yes, Your Honor. It's actually Philip Arroyo who works for me,
Okay,
but it's my firm's case.
all right. According to this, bond is bond set at no bond, not to be modified by the IA judge. Anything else from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. We sent your JA an email from the ASA who's on the case, Katrina Moiski, and she's recommending a dismissal of the affidavit. I didn't know if the state would be willing to dismiss the VOP affidavit this morning.
Has the state seen that email?
I have not, Your Honor.
I'm checking my email now. See if-
I'm sorry, Judge. We just found out you were doing IAs this morning, Your Honor.
What's the state attorney's email address?
Oh, I'm sorry.
T Fleming at sao9.org.
T. Fleming. Send it over to T. Fleming and see if she can take a look at it.
I appreciate it.
All right.
We pass for a moment?
Yep, yeah, have a step back and you step forward.
Thank you,
Your name,
Judge.
sir?
Chad Alexander Sr.
All right, 2022 MM24AO and counsel for Mr. Senior.
Yes, Judge. Keith Sahach of Funk, Sahach and Diamond in Brevard County. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Review the affidavit, found probable cause. Is there anybody here for Chad Senior? Anyone here for Chad Senior? All right. Any input from the state with regards to release?
Our state would just ask for a reasonable bond to be set and no contact due to having no victim contact.
All right. Any input from the defense?
Yes, Judge. Lieutenant Colonel Chad Senior is 47 years old. He's a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, previous deputy commander of the 920th Operations Group at Patrick Air Force Base. He's currently in between Melbourne and MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa. He's with High Level Special Ops in Tampa. He's also a two-time Olympian, Judge. I'd ask for a $100 cash surety bond, no unconsented contact, and for him to be allowed to return to the residence at 3419 Pineda Crossing Drive if the alleged victim is no longer there. My understanding is that she has moved out of that address, which is his place.
Your Honor, state would object to contact at this time due to we not having the victim's testimony.
All right. I'll set his bond of $100, no contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene. You can return one time to collect your belongings with the assistance of law enforcement. If they determine that she does not live there, then you can stay there, okay? I'm not gonna let the place stay vacant. Obviously, that could be modified if we get in touch with the alleged victim in this case, and the alleged victim says they don't have any issue with contact, but without their input, I'm gonna order no contact for this time.
Your Honor, I believe this occurred at a Disney resort, Fort Wilderness, so the no return would apply to that. So state would also ask for separate residences for when they return to Fort Myers
All right. Is it Brevard or Fort Myers?
or Melbourne.
Melbourne, that's what I thought, right?
Melbourne, I believe.
Patrick Air Force Base. All right, yeah, maintain separate residence, okay? All right, anything else,
Thank you.
counsel?
That's all I have, Judge Mabby. Excused.
Thank you, have a good one.
Thank you.
Did Mr. Cohen's office get that email over to you?
I have not received anything, Your Honor.
I know I believe my secretary just forwarded it.
And I don't have anything within the notes from the other ASA.
D. Fleming at sao9.org.
Yes. FLEMMING?
FLEMING, yes.
1M.
FLEM. All right. We'll get it over momentarily.
Yes, yeah. Who do you have?
Dwayne Holly, Your Honor.
What kind of case? Oh, there, I got it. 2021 CF 16192AO, and make an appearance from counsel.
For the record, Your Honor, I'm Attorney Merrill Glover Gambles.
All right. And your name, sir?
Dwayne Holly.
All right. So you're here in 21 CF 16192AO. It's an arrest warrant on an aggravated battery with a motor vehicle domestic violence. According to this affidavit, your bond is set at no bond. So you're not interested in the services of the public defender? I'll get rid of this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone here for Dwayne Holly? Anyone here for Dwayne Holly? All right. State any input with regards to release?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Hawley is entitled to a bond, so state asks that you set a reasonable one today. However, state we just take into account, he does have a violent criminal history, as well as at least 7 prior VOPs, as well as prior DV battery arrests. In the alleged warrant, it is alleged that he dragged the victim at least twice, several times, with his vehicle and ran over her left ankle, I believe. So state would ask that all that be taken into account when setting a bond, as he is otherwise entitled to it.
All right. Any input from the defense?
And Your Honor, we don't have any information regarding the allegations that support this charge, but we would like to be heard in reference to bond.
Sure.
Mr. Holly, how long have you resided in Orange County?
All my life for 34 years.
Okay. And did you go to high school here?
Yes, ma'am.
And does your family live here?
Yes, ma'am.
Your mother, your father, your siblings,
Yes, ma'am.
grandmothers,
Yes, ma'am.
uncles, aunties?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are employed, are you at Regal Marine here in Orlando?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have any problem with the no contact order?
No, ma'am.
And you signed the document here in court today?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that it means absolutely no contact?
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing further from the defendant, Your Honor.
All right. Set your bond at $5,000. No contact with the alleged victim. Maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Okay?
Yes, and thank you very much, Your Honor.
You ready? Steve, have you gotten that email yet?
Yes, Your Honor, I have received it. However, I don't believe that's the ASA on the case currently. And that email was sent back in October. Given that it's been 3 months, I'm not willing to dismiss at this time.
Mr. Cohen, you want me to roll this to tomorrow?
Sure, Judge, if we could.
If you want to get something a little bit more solid, but as of now, I'm going to stay the bond at no bond and we'll roll it to tomorrow.
Yes, thank you.
I'll give you 24 hours to figure something out.
Okay, I appreciate it. All right, thank you.
See you tomorrow. Mr. Zimzores?
Yes, sir.
We're going to roll your case to tomorrow. Your attorney's going to try and get some
You are the only participant.
information for your case, okay? So I'll see you back tomorrow morning. Your attorney's going to appear online. Because right now your bond's set at no bond. He's trying to get you a bond or a dismissal, but we just don't have the right information to do that or even see if that's possible, okay? All right. See you tomorrow. Oh, let me do this. Yeah. Espanol? What are we doing next? Spanish? I'm going to add the interpreter. Oh, how do I do it?
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Rafael Barrera, State Certified Court Interpreter. I have not been sworn today, Judge.
All right, can you raise your right hand? You swear to interpret from Spanish to English and English to Spanish to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
Do we use the headphones out here or no? I don't know. All right.
Yes, Your Honor, we normally do.
All right.
If you allow me just a moment, Judge, just to confirm that he can hear.
No, no, no escucho nada.
Apparently it worked.
No, no se escucha nada.
No, he doesn't.
Your Honor, the defendant's telling me he can't hear, but he's actually answering my question. So I don't know.
Hello.
He said no escucho.
Sí, diga. Sí, ahorita diga.
Your Honor, the interpreter can confirm the defendant is able to hear through the headsets.
All right, sir, your name and date of birth?
22 de agosto.
This guy.
Your Honor, just for the record, he's able to hear me. I just don't know if he's having issues understanding or what his concern is, Judge.
22 de agosto. 1995.
22nd of August, 1995.
Marcos.
Marcos Ramirez.
Morales.
You're here in case number 22, CF 30, AO, one count of false imprisonment, dating violence, and one count of battery, domestic violence. I reviewed the affidavit. I found probable cause. I will appoint the public defender. Were you interested in the services of the public defender? Did you want to represent yourself or hire a private attorney?
¿Y ahorita o?
Right now?
I'll actually appoint the public defender to represent you. The clerk just now handed me the financial affidavit. Is there anyone here for Marcos Ramirez Morales?
¿Alguien aquí presente para Marcos Ramírez Morales?
Any input from the state?
Your Honor, state would just ask for a removal of all counts. I believe the false imprisonment was forcing her into a vehicle, which we do have a significant account as well. I also believe there was alcohol use, so state would ask for the condition, no alcohol or drugs.
Any input from the defense?
I would just ask that you set a reasonable bond, Your Honor, given his history.
Set your bond at $250 on count one, $100 on count two. No contact with the alleged victim. Maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. And do not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol. Thank you.
Y disculpe una pregunta.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes.
¿Y cuánto es la fianza que me dijeron?
So what was that bond you said?
$250 on count one, $100 on count two. Give it to you in writing.
Your Honor, could I just ask for a one-time return with law enforcement to gather?
You can return one time with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve any belongings you need to live or work.
Ok, sí, muchas gracias.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, the interpreter can confirm the defendant is able to hear through the headsets.
Your name, ma'am?
Luisa Nodar. Sí.
Luisa Nodar.
You're here in case number 2022 MM 44 AO, count of battery, dating violence. Using affidavit, found probable cause, and will appoint the office of the public defender. Your name, sir?
J.C. Andrews.
What's your last name? Andrews?
Andrews.
And what do you want to tell me with regards to this incident, or with regards to conditions of her release?
Well, honestly, just we hear about a mistake and didn't expect it to go this far, and it kind of backfired on us. We're both living a loving home, loving kids. We love each other. Just got upset, said some things, and tried to scare, and it turned this way. We're both quite embarrassed. This wasn't supposed to happen. Didn't think it was going to happen, and I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's just I'm hurt. She's hurt. We live together, love each other, love our kid, and it just got out of hand, and we didn't expect this to happen. Just talking, well, you did this, I did this, and just talking. Well, a scare tactic turned it this way, and neither one of us expected it. So here we are, sir.
For everybody that's here that's listed as a victim in this case, I'll give you some guidance. This is for everybody. So the purpose of this morning's hearing is two reasons. One, we need to determine if there is a valid reason or probable cause for arrest. And then two, to determine conditions of release. Oh, they can't hear anything?
We can hear out there.
No, they're saying, you can't hear me? I'll give everybody these instructions then. Place is falling apart. And so part of the conditions of release are contact, any kind of issues. And so what we look at is, you guys live together?
Yes, sir.
You want her to come home?
Absolutely.
Are you here for your safety?
Not at all.
Are drugs or alcohol an issue?
No, sir.
So those types of things are things that I need to figure out.
Right.
I appreciate it. Any questions from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Any input from the state?
State would just ask for the condition for them to comply with DCF, as DCF was called in this case.
Any input from the state? I'm sorry, from the defense?
Your Honor, I would just ask for a no hostile contact order, given the defendant's history and the victim's testimony here today.
All right, I'll set your bond at $250. No hostile contact with the alleged victim. No hostile contact means no physical abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. If DCF imposes any conditions, you have to follow those conditions that DCF imposes. So if they impose a condition that is more strict than my conditions, then you have to follow their conditions. Do you understand?
DCF?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Is that what you said, DCF?
DCF. State told me DCF's involved. I don't know anything about it.
DCF was caught on the scene, Your Honor, and the report was.
Okay.
I know as much as you. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions?
No.
All right. Thank you.
Your Honor, the interpreter can confirm the defendant is able to hear through the headsets.
All right. Your name, sir?
Jose Torre Fernandez.
Jose Torres Fernández.
You are here in case number 22 MM 43 AO, one count of battery domestic violence. Is there anybody here for Jose Torres Fernandez?
¿Hay aquí alguien presente para José Torres Fernández?
I reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, will appoint the public defender. Any input from the state with regards to release?
Your Honor, state would just ask for a reasonable bond and no contact if not being present.
Any input from the defense?
Your Honor, just asked that you set a reasonable bond given his history.
I'll set your bond at $250. No contact with the alleged victim. Maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. You can return once to your residence with the assistance of law enforcement. Retrieve any of your belongings. Thank you. Mr. Interpreter, can you ask if there's any victims that need the services of the Spanish interpreter?
Certainly, Your Honor. Su atención, por favor. Si hay alguna persona aquí presente que fue víctima de un delito que quisiera decirle algo al juez, por favor, alce la mano en este momento.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Have a good morning and Happy New Year.
You too. Thank you. All right, sir, your name?
Adrian Coyne.
You are the only participant.
What happened to Donald John Richard? All right. 2022 MO 16AO, I'll temporarily appoint the public defender. 2021 CF 8382AO, I'll temporarily appoint the public defender.
I'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, on his open container, I'll set him at ROR, and then he has this failure to appear on a possession of cocaine. According to that, his bond is set at no bond.
Yes.
All right, you said Adrian Coyne?
Adrian James Coyne, yes, sir.
All right, 2022 MM 28AO, you're here on a violation, domestic violence injunction or protection order. According to this, your bond is set at no bond. I'll appoint the public defender. State, any input?
Your Honor, given that it is a violation, state would just ask for a bond, as this court could set no bond if you found there were no reasonable conditions. However, given his history, I don't know if that is reasonable at this time. The state would just ask for a bond, however higher, for him to understand the significance of violating that domestic injunction. I believe the domestic injunction was due to a battery on a person 65 years or older, which he pled to in June.
Yeah, I feel like he's incarcerated until June of 2024. That's what my notes say.
Yes, Your Honor.
So even if he gets a bond, he's not getting out of jail until 2024?
No, he's
I believe
on
he's
probation.
probation.
He's on probation?
Yes, Your Honor.
So does this violate his probation?
It seems that way.
It could if they filed a,
Yeah. It would violate.
Is that VOP out of Orange County?
Correct.
Is that the same victim?
yes, Your Honor, the underlying case is the battery on a person 65 years or older. 1 second.
So why can't I do it on?
You could, Your Honor.
You could.
Why wouldn't
So, Your Honor, I got a question, sir.
I? Talk to your lawyer real quick, because I just don't want you to say anything and get you in any more trouble.
Yes, Your Honor. In the underlying case, the bat 65 or older, the victim was his father, Mr. Coyne, at the address located at 3421 Dragoon Place.
What's that case number?
That case number is 21 CF 3307 AO. He's already had one previous VOP on that case, so state would ask that you find a non-view.
All right, any input from the defense?
Your Honor, I would just ask that you look at the facts of this particular case. My client was allegedly sitting on the porch. I believe the victim is his mother. And I believe she reached out to my client. So I just ask that you consider all of those facts.
I mean, no contact has been explained to him on a number of times, right?
Yes, sure.
When he got arrested on the first DV, when he pled to that DV, when he got put on probation for that case, maybe on his other DOP, I don't know. All right, on the first case here, the 22mm 28 AO, I'll set his bond at $2,500. No contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene, maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Do you have any question about what no contact means, sir?
Don't call my mom or dad.
Do you have any questions about it? Is there anything about the phrase no contact that's confusing to you or that you don't understand?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. And then in 2021 CF 3307 AO, we'll set his bond at no bond with the same conditions.
I thought you just said you set my bond at 2,500.
On the new case I did, but on the case that you're on probation is no bond.
So I don't have, so, cause on a violation.
All right, so your name?
Reynolds.
2022 CF22AO. Oh, maybe not. You're here on one count of battery, domestic violence by strangulation, one count of battery, one count of false imprisonment. This was rolled from the weekend for PC. I know the affidavit that I have references another affidavit. Is that what this is?
Yeah, I did obtain the supplement, yeah.
Okay. And has the defense been shown that? Yes, Your Honor. Okay. All right. And ma'am, your name?
Chandra Clark.
Were you here over the weekend?
Yes, I was here yesterday.
Okay. All right. Is there anything new or different you want to tell me while I read this?
Yes, because I was told by the arresting officer that I had to write a statement even though I didn't want to because I wasn't in any harm and I didn't want to press any charges.
State, do you have any questions for her while I read this?
Ma'am, would you like to have contact with him while this case is pending?
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
No, nothing like this has ever happened before.
If anything ever occurred in the future where you did feel threatened, would you feel comfortable calling 911?
Yes.
And do you live with Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor. But given the victim's testimony, I would ask for a no hostile contact order. It does not appear he has any convictions on his record.
All right, review the affidavit, found probable cause. It looks like the TD was already appointed, and this is Mr. Reynolds. All right. I'll set your bond on count one at $1,500, count two at $100, count three at $100. No hostile contact with the alleged victim. No hostile contact means no physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
No, sir.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
In the back, what's your name, sir? All right, 2022 MM4AW, you're here on one kind of damage on property, criminal mischief, $200 or under. One kind of resisting officer without violence. You're out on bond on 21 CF 14562 AO. I thought there was another one for some reason. Nope. All right, review the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender. I'll stay your bonds at 500 and 100, and then the case that he's out on bond, state, have you filed on that case?
We have not, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll take no action on that case since the state hasn't filed on it. All right, your name? Your name?
Deion Bradford.
All right, you're here in 2022 CF 38AO, one kind of aggravated battery on a pregnant person.
Yes.
Review the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender. Ma'am, your name? Ma'am? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Camelia King.
Okay, all right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. And you're Amelia King, you said?
Camelia with a C.
All right. Is there anything that you want to tell me with regards to this incident? Anything you think I should consider in determining conditions of his release?
I mean, the whole situation was a miscommunication. I was not intended for him to go to jail. I separated myself. I went to my mom's house. I got a call from the police that they was there. It was nothing serious for him to go to jail.
All right, State, do you have any questions for her?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any questions for her?
No, Your Honor.
Do you live together?
Yes.
You want him to come home?
Yes. We have kids together.
Any input from the state?
Excuse me?
I was asking her if she had any input.
No, Your Honor. State would just ask for a reasonable bond, given the victim's testimony.
Any input from the defense?
Your Honor, I would just ask for a no hostile contact order given his history.
All right, I'll set your bond at $1,500. No hostile contact with the alleged victim. No hostile contact means no physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Thank you for being here, ma'am. All right, 22 CF 48AO, temporarily appoint the public defender. Is anyone here for Keith Miller? Keith Miller?
And
You want to waive or roll?
I'll waive, Your Honor. I'll waive
Right.
appearance.
Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause. Any input from the state?
Your Honor, state would just ask for reasonable bonds. It's all counts and no no alcohol or drugs. It does seem he does have a prior violent history, prior batteries, burglaries, and prior VOP showing inability to comply with court orders.
All right, any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor, I just ask that you consider the facts in this case. It appears he was under the influence at the time, not in his right state of mind. The only convictions I have as an adult is the possession of marijuana and a false report. So I'd ask that you take all of that into consideration.
What's your name? Mitchell Paulzito. Is he the co-defendant victim in this? Is this one a co-defendant?
Not this one, Your
No,
Honor.
not this one.
Yeah, I believe it's the next one.
The next one, okay. All right, I'll set on Miller, count one at $1,000, count two at 150, count three at 100. No contact, no return, maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons, and do not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs unless prescribed. All right, and then you're Mitchell Zito, 22 CF 50 AO, tampering with the witness to hinder communication to a law enforcement officer and battery domestic violence. Reviewed the affidavit. Found probable cause, point to public defender. Ma'am, your name?
Jessica Zito.
I'm sorry.
Welcome to an Acano meeting. You are entering the meeting now.
I'm not hitting anything.
You are the only participant.
All right. One more time, ma'am.
Jessica Zito.
You're listed as the alleged victim in this case. Is there anything that you want to tell me? Anything you think I should consider?
I think that he should be able to be released, but I do believe that he needs help with with alcohol and mixing it with the prescription drugs that he has, legal marijuana. But I think that he needs to be able to get help with that. I don't know what else to say.
So do you guys live together
Yes,
and you want to have contact with him?
I would like to have contact, but I would not like him to come home at this time. I don't know if that's something that can change later, but at this time I do not.
State, do you have any questions for her?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any questions for her?
No, Your Honor.
State, any input?
Yes, Your Honor, state would just ask for, given the victim's testimony, I understand that she said she wanted contact. The state would still ask for no contact as well as separate residences at this time due to the allegations within the affidavit. I believe there was allegedly he grabbed a kitchen knife and then he grabbed a wine glass and pretended he was going to bust it off and fight with it. Then I believed he eventually grabbed another knife as well, or another weapon as well. And given that there were children present, state would just ask for a no contact, separate residences, and for DCF to be a part of the conditions.
Any input from the defense?
Your Honor, in addition, I would just ask for a one-time return with law enforcement to gather any belongings he may have. And when setting the bond, I would ask that you consider the fact that his last conviction was in 2006 for fleeing. And it looks like he has 0 failures to appear, Your Honor.
Ma'am, you said, is he prescribed medication? And is he abusing it, or is he not taking it, or?
He sometimes doesn't take it, sometimes does, different things like for PTSD. He has a medical marijuana license, but he drinks on it when he has
Wrong person, I
medication,
know.
and that's what I'm concerned about.
All right, on count one, I'll set your bond at $1,500, count two, $100. No hostile contact. No hostile contact means no physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. You do have to maintain a separate residence, but you can return once with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve your belongings. And do not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. And you must take any medications that you're prescribed as prescribed. So if you abuse those medications or failure to take them, then that can be a violation of your release. You understand?
Yes, sir.
If DCF's involved, whatever conditions DCF imposes, you have to follow them as well, okay? I just don't know what they're gonna do, if anything. All right, thank you for being here.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Does that include my children as well with the,
As far as the contact,
yeah,
how old are the children?
they're, well, my daughter just turned 4 today, and then 6 and 10.
I mean, if his way to contact them is through you, then he can't have contact with them right now. If he can have, if he contacts them directly, and then everything that I do can be changed by the judges assigned to the case.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, so yeah, he can have contact with them. Sorry, I ordered no hostile contact, so, yeah. Any other questions?
I don't think so, no.
I'm sorry?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right, thank you. Your name? Oh, you're good. And did you have any questions, sir? All right. Your name, sir?
Oh, Michael Allen.
2022 MM23AO, one count of battery, domestic violence. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender. Any input from the state?
State would just ask for a no contact and a reasonable bond, Your Honor.
Any input from the defense?
No, Your Honor, I would just, sorry, this is the case I would just ask that you consider, his last conviction was in 2006. When setting the bond in this case.
I'll set his bond at $500, no contact with the alleged victim, no return, maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Should I call this or not call? All right, ma'am, your name?
Hello, I'm Kathy Bass.
Good morning. You're here in 2022 MM3AA, one count of battery, domestic violence. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender. Any input from the state?
Your Honor, the state would just have you take into account that she does have at least 3 battery arrests.
Oops, sorry, I'm sorry.
One from 2021, it was August of 2021. Victim was Mr. Leonard Bass, who was the same victim in this case, as well as another case from 2021, the arrest being in December, victim also being Leonard Bass. So there's been at least 2 previous incidences within the past 4 months with the same victim. So state would have you take that into account when setting a bond in this case.
All right. Any input from the defense?
And I would just ask that you consider the fact that there were no convictions and she has 0 failures to appear.
All right, I'll set her bond at $500. No contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene, maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons, and do not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. Does she need to go back for any reason?
Excuse me? Do you need to gather any belongings from the house?
Yes.
All right, you could return once with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve your belongings.
Okay. So we'll put it in,
All right, your name?
Vincent Brown.
Is this the one with co-defendant? I thought there was, all right. 2022 MM42AO, you're here on one count of battery, domestic violence. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender. Any input from the state?
Your Honor, state we just asked for a reasonable bond. I do believe this is the one with the co-defendant, Mr. Miller. Do we have Mr. Miller?
I thought we already did Mr. Miller.
Okay. Then state we just asked for a reasonable bond, Your Honor.
Mr. Miller, Salt. You know Salt?
Yeah.
Are you Salt or is the other guy Salt?
The other guy's Salt.
Yeah, I knew that was the co-defendant. I was right. All right.
State we just asked for reasonable bonding conditions, Your Honor.
Any input from the defense?
No, Your Honor. I would just ask for the same thing.
All right, you're Vincent Brown. All right, I'll set your bond at $500. No contact with the alleged victim. No return to the scene. Maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Okay? Your name, ma'am?
Kimberly Chimber.
You're here in 2022 MM33AO, one kind of battery, domestic violence. Review the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender. Any contact with the alleged victim? I forgot to ask that. Anybody have any contact? All right, state any input.
Your Honor, Ms. Chimber does have at least 2 prior DV arrests. One from 2014 with the victim Cooks, which is a different victim than in this case, and then also a 2014 Agbat DV, victim also being Mr. Cooks. So we just have you take that into account in setting bond.
Any input from the defense?
Your Honor, I just asked for a $500 bond in this case, given my client's on Social Security disability.
All right, I'll set your bond at $500. No contact with the alleged victim. No return to the scene. Maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. And you can return once with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve your belongings. If they determine that he does not live there, then you can stay there. Your name? 2022 MM25AO, one kind of battery, domestic violence. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause. Sir, according to your financial affidavit, 20 grand a year doesn't qualify? What's the schedule? We gotta make 12? What year is this?
Your Honor, he's only seasonal. It was just for the holidays. He does not even know if they're going to keep him, so I would ask that you appoint us temporarily.
Well, you know, he makes more money. He makes too much money to qualify for the PD, and he works seasonal. All right, I'll temporarily appoint the public defender for purposes of initial appearance. Review the affidavit, found probable cause. Any input from the state?
Just ask that you set a reasonable bond, Your Honor, with no contact.
Any input from the defense?
Your Honor, I would just ask for a $250 bond, given he has no criminal history.
Does he have any criminal history?
He doesn't, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. All right, I'll set his bond at $250. No contact with the alleged victim. No return to the scene. Maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons.
I believe he lives there, Your Honor. Can he have a one-time return?
You can return one time with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve his belongings. Ma'am, your name?
Kiana Fleming.
2022 MM34AO, one time battery, dating violence. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender. Any input from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any input from the defense?
Your Honor, I would also ask for a $250 bond, given she has no criminal history, and it appears the victim was Baker acted.
Set your bond at $250. No contact with the alleged victim. No return to the scene. Maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. In the back, ma'am, what's your name? Oh. All right, you're here in 2022 MM1 AE. First misdemeanor arrest of the year for the east side of town. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, appoint the public defender. Any input from the state?
Your Honor, she does have one previous battery DV arrest, victim being Mr. Miller. Which I believe is a different victim than in this case, so state would just have you take that into account.
Any input from the defense?
Just that she has no convictions, Your Honor, so I just asked that you take that into account.
Set your bond at $250. No contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene, maintain separate residence. I think it says you're bouncing around and you were just there for the night. Is that right? Or not?
Your Honor, I believe there's two counts because there's two
Put it
victims.
on the second count.
No, I don't live there.
Okay, all right, so there's no reason to go back.
No, there is a reason, because I have my kids there.
Okay, they're still there?
Yeah, they're still there.
All right, so you can return one time to retrieve any belongings in your kids. I think DCF or I don't think they were involved in this one.
I did not
Don't
see
worry
that they
about
were
it.
called, Your Honor.
All right,
So I can go and get my children?
yeah, with the assistance of law enforcement.
Yeah.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, your name, ma'am?
Johnny Loy.
All right, 2022 MM45AO, one kind of battery, domestic violence. And your name, sir?
My name's Dean Armenti.
All right. Mr. Armenti, is there anything that you want to tell me, anything that you think I should consider in with regards to conditions of release?
Your Honor, we have a very loving relationship. This is so unfortunate. We've never been in trouble in our lives, and I just really want to put it behind us, and I want to get her out of here.
Hey, do you have any questions for him?
So you would like to have contact with her while this case is pending?
I'm sorry?
You would like to have contact with her while this case is pending?
Yes, indeed.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Any questions from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Any input from the state?
State, we just asked for a reasonable bond, Your Honor.
Any input from the defense?
I would just ask for a no hostile contact order, given that she has no criminal history, Your Honor.
Does she want a minimal bond or PTR?
I would ask,
Minimal would be 250, 100, something in that range.
yes, Your Honor, I would ask for a $250 bond.
All right. I'll set your bond at $250. No hostile contact. No hostile contact means no physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. And
I believe there's alcohol and
yeah, that's what I thought. Do not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. Okay. You understand?
I do.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for being.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, your name, sir?
William Loy, L-O-Y.
All right, you were here in 2022 MM36AO, one count of battery domestic violence. Were you interested in the services of the public defender? Did you want to represent yourself or hire a private attorney?
I'd like to represent myself at this time.
All right, and your name?
Sherry Loy.
Okay. State, were you able to give me, or explain this affidavit to me before I make a decision?
Your Honor, from my reading, from what I understand, is that there was a third-party call saying that they saw a
White male put somebody's head into a red pickup truck.
white male slammed a female into a red pickup truck. I believe at that time, the victim left the scene in that red pickup truck. I believe law enforcement was called back to the scene, where they made contact with both the defendant and the victim. At that time, they got word from the victim regarding her being hit on the head with the basket top. So I believe arguably there could be two, Your Honor. However, at this time, there's only charged with one. And
What are they charging her with? The basket of clothes or the head into the pickup truck?
I believe it's the basket of clothes, Your Honor, given that the victim's statement within this affidavit does not mention the pickup truck incident.
All right. Well, the basket of clothes.
I mean,
The affidavit found probable cause. Ma'am, what do you want to tell me?
I just want to tell you that, the pickup truck incident, I did leave after that. We have a business together. We're professional tax accountants and bookkeepers. We have to get to work. We do love each other. Been married almost 30 years. I'm not afraid of him. Do want him to come home.
I mean, the basket of clothes incident doesn't really bother me at all. I mean, it's like, but when you combine that with the head into the truck issue, that's where the concern comes in. Has anything like this ever happened before?
No,
Okay. All right, State, do you have any questions? You've got, domestic battery arrests.
Yes, Your Honor. That was the only thing state was gonna bring to your attention is the prior BAT DVs and prior VOP showing inability to comply with court orders. And that they were the same victim, but other than that, state has nothing else, Your Honor.
So were you the victim in his domestic battery arrest?
I think that's what they thought it was. They put him on pretrial intervention, and it was during COVID. It was only for 3 months. Nothing really happened then. It was just a misunderstanding.
Okay. All right, defense, do you have any questions for her?
No, Your Honor.
Any other input from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any input from the defense?
Are you appointing us, Your Honor? He said he doesn't.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He doesn't
I'm
want us
sorry.
to
I'm
represent.
sorry, yeah, you're right. No. Sir, understand that as a defendant, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. That being said, if there is something you want to tell me or anything you think I should consider in determining your conditions of release, you can, but just understand that warning that I gave you. Is there anything that you want to tell me, or do you want to remain silent?
There's nothing I remain silent. I reckon there's nothing of any, I don't want to remain silent. That's wrong. It was just a bad mishap. It was not pre-planned. It's not something that we've done in the past.
All right, set your bond at $500. No hostile contact with the alleged victim. No hostile contact means no physical abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Yes, ma'am?
Hostile contact doesn't mean no contact, right? We can still see and work together.
Yep.
We just can't be rude and mean.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or physical.
Okay, perfect.
Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons, okay?
Sir.
All right, thank you. Thank you for being here, ma'am. Your name?
Joseph Lyons.
2022 MM 40 AO, one kind of battery, domestic violence, review the affidavit, found probable cause, appoint the public defender. Ma'am, your name?
Brady Lyons.
Ma'am, is there anything that you want to tell me with regards to this issue?
I just would like for him to be able to get out and go back to work. If I have to leave the property temporarily with my son, I'm willing to do that. We've just been trying to do the best for our son, and there's just been some misunderstandings and stuff like that. So I just want him to do what makes him happy and what's the best for him.
State, do you have any questions for her?
So would you like to have contact with him?
Yes. Remember I told you
That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right, defense, do you have any questions for her?
No, Your Honor.
Any input from the state?
Your Honor, state would just bring to your attention, he does have at least 2 prior DV arrests, one from 2011 with a different victim, and it appears one from 2015 with the same victim.
Any input from the defense?
Your Honor, I would just ask for a no hostile contact order given the victim's testimony and the fact that his only conviction looks like was a driving while license suspended back in 2014.
Ma'am, did you say you had to leave the house, or you're willing to?
I'd be willing to, if that's what he needs to be able to get to work and do what he needs to do, if I have to do that. But we do have a child together, so I do need to have contact with him. But I don't want any bickering or any fighting or, I just want it to be positive.
Okay. All right, I'll set your bond to $500. I'm going to order no contact with the alleged victim except for child care issues, child visitation, child care. Maintain separate residence. Do not return to the scene. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. So, ma'am, you can stay. I'm not going to displace you over this. He's going to have to figure something out. Okay.
Your Honor, DCF was also called, so state would ask for.
All right, if DCF imposes any conditions, you have to follow those conditions as well, okay?
How do I know, like, are they gonna call me or?
Well, I mean, for you, you're not the defendant in this case, so you can still kind of do whatever you want to do, but you should follow whatever DCF tells you to do. For him, you know, he has to do it. I don't know if they'll call you, if they'll show up. I don't know. DCF's completely separate from me and the court system.
But I am allowed to like talk to him about the child and
Yep.
stuff like that.
That's the only thing you guys can really talk about.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So no break, right? We're just gonna keep. I mean, the second session looks small. Oh, there's a little footboard here. Your name? Your name?
Tiffany Price.
All right, you were here in 2022 MM39AO, one count of battery domestic violence. And your name, sir?
Emmanuel Rosario.
All right. I review the affidavit, found probable cause, appoint the public defender. Is there anything that you want to tell me?
Yes, I would like a no contact order. And, if she is gonna be released rather on bond or pretrial release, I would like for her to see some type of, domestic, accountability course or, anger management, Your Honor.
State, do you have any questions for him?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any questions for him?
No, Your Honor.
Any input from the state?
Your Honor, she does have a 2021 misdemeanor non-arrest, that DV, victim being her mother. Another 2021 misdemeanor non-arrest, victim also being her mother. A 2020 misdemeanor DV, victim being the same victim today, Mr. Rosario. As well as a 2008 battery, victim being a separate victim. So they would have you take that into account when setting bond. Also take into account that she does have a fugitive warrant out of Ohio. As well as within the affidavit, it states that there are prior cases from New York. I don't have access to that, given that it is a different jurisdiction. However, state would ask that you take that all into account when setting her bond.
All right, any input for the defense?
Your Honor, I just asked that you look at the fact she has 0 failures to appear and has been in the Orlando area for over a year. When setting.
Got a warrant out for failure to appear out of Ohio.
Oh, okay. That's the only thing I'd ask that you consider.
Sorry?
I'm sorry, may I address the court?
No.
Talk to your lawyer, because I just don't want you saying and get you in trouble.
That's it, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I'll set her bond at $1,000. No contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene, maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Sir, I can't order any kind of counseling or anything like that. That would be something that if this case ever resolved in some form of a plea or a sentence, then she can be sentenced to that, but I can't order it as a condition of release.
So is there any way I can get of order of protection or?
So I ordered I issued a no contact order, so she can't call you, she can't have her family call you, she can't show up.
Nothing about a full restraining order? Is that okay?
Well, between what I just told you and what you're looking for, what's the difference?
No difference. Thank you, Your Honor.
No, I mean, I just want to make sure that you get what you need. I mean, if you want to go get a restraining order, I guess you can go down to the courthouse and file for one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Your Honor, just a one-time return with law enforcement to gather her belongings.
You can return one time with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve your belongings. Oh man, hungry too. Don't worry, I got a snack in the car. Hope you get it after this. Your name, sir?
Thomas Waddle.
All right, 2022 MM41AO. You're on one kind of battery. Reviewed the affidavit. Were you interested in the services of the public defender? Did you want to represent yourself or hire a private attorney?
Public defendant.
Do you have a job?
Yes, sir.
How much money do you make?
$85,000.
A year?
Yes, sir.
How many, children, any dependents?
Just me and my wife, I have 2 children that live with us that are 26 or.
So, you're not gonna qualify for the services of the public defender. You make more money than the public defender. So you got a couple options. The first option is, we can go forward today without a lawyer. You can represent yourself. At any point in time after today, you can hire a lawyer.
Okay.
I can roll this hearing to tomorrow, give you 24 hours to hire a lawyer, but you'll stay in jail during that 24 hours. And those are kind of your options. So you can either go forward now without a lawyer, or I can roll it 24 hours. What do you want to do?
Go forward.
Okay, all right. So I reviewed the affidavit. I found probable cause. Your name, ma'am?
Lacey Waddle.
I'm sorry, what is it?
Lacey Waddle.
Is there anything that you want to tell me? Anything you think I should consider?
I just want no contact with him. I'm moving. I was told to come here and let y'all know that I'm gonna be moving out of the residence, not him, with my child and my husband.
So you don't want to have any contact with him?
No.
You guys live together,
I'm leaving.
and you're planning on moving out, or are you?
No, we're moving
Yes. And when are you planning on doing that?
today.
Today?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Stay. Do you have any questions for her?
No, Your Honor.
And sir, do you have any questions? You can ask me, and I can ask her.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. State, any input with regards to release?
State would just ask for a reasonable bond, Your Honor, and DCF was called.
All right. So, sir, the state's asking for a reasonable bond. In your case, it's going to be in the neighborhood of about $500. Is there anything that you want to tell me with regards to conditions of your release?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so I'll set your bond at $500, no contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene, maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Now, you can return one time with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve your belongings. If they determine that she has moved out, then you can stay. Now, if she thinks she's gonna be out today, she may or may not be out. So if you bond out, you got one shot to go back. And so I'm not gonna give you any kind of advice, but, obviously if you go back today and she's still there, then you can't stay there. If you wait a day or two to go back and she's not there, that gives her, that isn't much time as she needs. DCF was called to this. If, DCF imposes any conditions, you have to follow those conditions, okay? Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right, ma'am, do you have any questions?
Can I get law enforcement to go over there with me to grab my stuff? It won't.
It's your place.
It's his place.
Right now,
I'm
it's your
sorry.
place.
Okay.
So he's the one that has to go back with law enforcement. Do you have a key to this place?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yours. And so he's gonna I've given him one time to return. Now, if you've moved out when he returns, then he can stay. If you're still there, then he's gotta find another place. Everything that I order is temporary, so it's fluid. It can change with the judge that's assigned to the case. Okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
How about Christopher LeBron?
His behavior.
All right, 2017 CF 11520AO, I'll temporarily appoint the public defender waiver role.
Waive, Your Honor.
All right, according to this warrant, is bond set at no bond. Is that it for the morning, first session?
33-day motion, Your Honor.
Oh, there they are. Thank you, Madam Clerk. So proud of everyone. 21 CF 15279AO, Nicholas Eugene Kelly.
Granted, notice and on filing.
Let's say the third. All right. Sean Junior Gaines, 21 CF 15240AO.
Granted, notice and on filing.
Erica McClure, 21 CF 14953AO.
Granted, notice and on filing.
Andy Andrew Lang, 21 CF 15276AO.
Granted, notice and on filing.
Angel Luis Rios Hoyos, 21 MM 8387AO.
Granted, notice and on filing.
Braxton Carruthers White, 21 CF 15249AO.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Braxton Carruthers White, 21 CF 13386AO.
Granted, no information notice.
Tyler Stafford, 21 CF 3476AO.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Gregory St. Rose Etienne, 21 CF 15280AO.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Everybody's granted.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Is that it for the morning from the state,
Yes, Your Honor.
from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Laura Bretaña, Spanish interpreter, previously sworn.
All right. This is Orange County Judge Adam McGinnis. How are you?
Fine, and you?
Let me know if you made contact. Oh, guess we're supposed to wait.
There is contact, Your Honor.
All right. Your name?
Alexander Berrio.
Alexander Berrios.
You were here in case number 2021 MM 9268AO, a misdemeanor, 1 count of battery, 1 count of criminal mischief, and 1 count of disorderly conduct. Public defender has been appointed to represent you. You're here for arraignment. There is no offer in this case, so we'll keep a not guilty plea. Division 63 is the division your case is assigned to. That is Judge Bigney. And your next court date will be?
January 26th, 1 p.m., courtroom 10B.
January 26th at 1 p.m. in courtroom 10B. Your lawyer's handing you some information. If you do bond out, make sure you stay in touch with your lawyer. Thank you. Is that all our Spanish cases?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Madam Interpreter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Put that right there. And so then that brings us to Lorget. Is that
Largett refused.
refused? All right. Out on bond in 2021 CF 3023AO, 21 MM 3812AO. I don't know, 2200113. Oh, that's another 21 mm 492 S456. Whose handwriting is this? 325 AA. And then here today in 2022 MM 2AA. I'll temporarily appoint the public defender. Do you want to waive or roll?
I'll waive, Your Honor. He has been deemed incompetent by the court to proceed in his out on bond cases. It looks like in 2021 CF 3023, it's been noted that he's been evaluated by 4 different doctors, and in all 4, he's been deemed incompetent to proceed. So I just ask that you take no action on his out on bond, given the competency issues. He does not meet the requirements for commitment. So I ask that you take no action.
All right. Any input from the state with regards to that?
Your Honor, saying there's no objection. I do see an order by Judge Blackman, April 29th, 2021, adjudicating him incompetent and placing him on conditional release. So state would just ask that you take no action on his out on bonds.
All right, I'll take no action on all those cases that he's out on bond. In his new case, I'll order MHPTR, and if he does not qualify, then we'll ROR him.
Your Honor, state would ask for a no return as well.
No return to the same restaurant that he keeps returning to. What was his Mexican restaurant, right? Like the whole enchilada?
El Sabor.
Oh yeah, mejor. How about Adrian Diaz Torres?
He's mental health, Your Honor.
All right. 21 CF 14998 AO ROR on that one here today, and 22 CF 35 AO battery resisting trespass. I'll temporarily appoint the PD. Waiver roll.
I'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right. Review the affidavit, found probable cause. I'll stay as bonds on count 1 and count 2, and count 3 I'll stay at 100. No return. I mean, on count 3 I'll reduce to 100. I'm sorry. Stay. What's the status of the case that he's out on bond? You filed on it?
1 second, Your Honor.
Oh yeah, no contact and no guns or weapons, knives.
No, Your Honor, we have not.
Okay, I'll take no action on the case that he's out on bond.
And to be clear, you ROR'd the petty theft?
Was that the last count?
It was, he has two cases. It was the 22 MM30.
I don't have that case.
I have him here on 22 CF35, which is the battery resisting and trespass. I also have him here on the 22 MM30, which is a petty theft. Do you have it?
Yeah, I thought that's the case you said he was ROR on. No?
I thought that's what he said as well.
Oh, you're talking about the Audubon?
I think he was talking about the, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You throw me under the bus on this one? I don't know anything about a petty theft. Madam Clerk, do you have a petty theft paperwork? Madam doesn't have it. It's 30 AA, 2022 MM 30 AA.
AO.
AO.
And it allegedly occurred at a Steak and Shake?
I don't have any paperwork.
I have it as well.
You do have it?
I do. I have it.
Let me see if I can print one. Let's see.
Can I see it? I can't do anything unless I read it. Sorry for making you get up and walk. Oh, good. You sit. All right. Thank you. 2022 MM 30AO petty theft retail. Oh. All right, review the affidavit, found probable cause, temporarily appoint the public defender. I'll stay his bond at 500. Can I give this to?
And State would ask for a no return to the academy.
No return to Academy Sports. All right, Louis Agront. 2022 MM 38 AO, temporarily appoint the public defender. Waiver roll.
I'll waive the appearance.
All right, reviewed his affidavit. I'll stay his bond at 500.
State would also ask for a no return, Your Honor.
No return to the scene. John Billheimer.
Medical, Your Honor.
21 MM 9269 AO PD arraignment.
I'll waive and enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
On good old John Billheimer.
Division 62 pre-trial conference, January 31st, 8:30 a.m., quorum 9B.
Andrew Ray, 21 MM 8294 AO, petty theft. Your name, sir?
My name is Andrew Ray.
All right. What are we doing with this gentleman?
Your Honor, the offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and no return to 4298 Millennia Boulevard. There's a cost of investigation in the amount of $50.68 to the Orlando Police Department. I did speak to Mr. Ray. We went over all the rights he would be giving up. He understands those rights and would like to enter a plea of no contest.
All right. Can you raise your right hand? Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Your name and date of birth?
Andrew Anthony Ray, 10/16/95.
All right. Is that a plea form in front of him?
Yes, Your Honor.
You sign it? Any questions? If you're not a U.S. citizen, you could be deported for this. Do you understand? Yes or no?
You gotta say
And
yes.
and if you've ever been convicted of a sexually violent or sexually motivated offense by entering this plea today, it could subject you to involuntary civil confinement. You understand that?
Yes.
Guilty or no contest today?
No contest.
Accept your no contest plea, adjudicate you guilty, sends you to 42 days of credit for 42 days. Court cost of prosecution, and cost of investigation of $50.68 to the Orlando Police Department. I'll give you 360 days from the date of your release. Pay that, and there'll be a no return to 4298 Millennia Boulevard, okay?
What?
All right, 30 days to appeal. Good luck.
How much was it? $50.58?
Your name, sir? Oh, come on, right down to that podium there. Don't be scared. All right, 22 MO 19AO, open container. Review the affidavit, found probable cause, point to PD.
Your Honor, the offer from the state on the city's behalf is a withhold of adjudication, credit time served. I did speak to Mr. Bybee. We went over all the rights who would be given up. He understands those rights and would like to enter a plea of no contest.
All right. Oh, who's your Caitlin Acevedo. Oh, yeah. All right, is this your signature?
Yes,
Did you read it?
yes,
Understand it?
yes,
Any questions?
no,
You're not a U.S. citizen, you could be deported for this, you understand?
yes,
And if you've ever been convicted of a sexually violent or sexually motivated offense by entering this plea today, it could subject you to involuntary civil confinement. Do you understand that?
yes,
Pleading guilty or no contest today?
no contest.
Accept your no contest plea. I'll withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days. Your costs, I'll reduce down to a judgment for you, 30 days to appeal. Good luck. All right, and your name? All right, 22 MO 20 AO, open container, review the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender, or do you want to resolve his case as well?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer from the state is a withhold of adjudication, credit time served. I went over all the rights with Mr. Huntley. He will be given up if he accepts the state's offer. He understands those rights and would like to enter a plea of no contest.
All right. Thank you. Is your signature?
Yes,
Read it. Did you read it?
yes,
Any questions?
no,
If you're not a U.S. citizen, you could be deported for this. Do you understand?
yes,
And if you've ever been convicted of a sexually violent or sexually motivated offense by entering this plea today, it could subject you to involuntary civil confinement. Do you understand that?
yes, sir,
Pleading guilty or no contest today?
no contest.
Accept your no contest plea, withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 with credit for 2, and I'll reduce your costs to a judgment. 30 days to appeal. Good luck.
Thank you.
Your Dave, sir?
Johnny Miller,
All right, your ROR on robbery armed with a weapon and battery in 21 CF 13531 AO. You're here today in 22 MO 21 AO, open container and violation of state misdemeanors. I'll appoint the public defender. Is he resolving this one?
Yes, Your Honor.
yes, sir,
I did speak to Mr. Miller. We went over all the rights who would be given up. Sorry, the state is making an offer of a withhold of adjudication of guilt, credit time served. And Mr. Miller understands the rights who would be given up if he accepts the state's offer, and he would like to enter a plea of no contest.
All right.
And Your Honor, given that he is resolving the case, I would ask that you take no action. He has regional conflict counsel on the out on bond.
What's the status of that case?
It is not filed yet, Your Honor.
I'll take no action on it. All right, sir, you heard what your attorney had to say. Is that your understanding?
yes, sir,
Is this your signature?
yes, sir,
You read it?
yes, sir,
Understand it?
yes, sir.
Any questions?
Happy New Year.
All right, that's not a question, that's a statement. Happy New Year.
And Tampa Bay going all the way.
Tampa Bay's going all the way, and they're doing it without Antonio Brown, right?
Thank y'all.
Hold on, no, don't get out of here yet. He's like Antonio right now, he's running. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you could be deported for this, you understand?
Yes, sir,
And if you've ever been convicted of a sexually violent or sexually motivated offense by entering this plea today, it could subject you to involuntary civil confinement. You understand that?
yes, sir,
Guilty or no contest?
No contest.
no contest.
Accept your no contest, withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days of credit for 2 to run concurrent as to each, and your costs I'll reduce down to a judgment for you. 30 days to appeal. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Raphael, Fredo,
Bonded.
no, he's in the hospital.
Oh, 22 CT 15AO, DUI with property damage. Temporarily appoint the PD, waiver role.
I'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, I'll stay as bond at 1,000. That brings us to Edwin Bermudez. Your name, sir? Edwin Bermudez. All right. You're out on pretrial release in 21 CF 6831AO, burglary of a conveyance, petty theft, resisting officer without violence. You're here today in 22 CF 40AO, burglary of an occupied dwelling, petty theft of $100 or more. Review the affidavit, found probable cause, appoint the public defender, and I will stay your bond on count 1. Count 2, I'll set it at $100. No return to the scene. State, what's the status of the case that he's out on pretrial release?
Your Honor, we have already filed on it, and it's been through 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like 5 different pretrial conferences. His next pretrial is 119. State would ask that you revoke, or if you're not inclined to do that, revoke and double, given that they are incredibly similar, actually.
So we'll go ahead and revoke his release, let the judge assign that case, determine what a reasonable bond is. So what do I do here? Revoke conditions of release on separate order? Which one do I check? Separate order? Okay. Got it. Yep. All right. Ma'am, your name? All right, you're out on bond in 21 CF 15174 AO, burglary of a conveyance and possession of methamphetamine. You're here today in 21 CF 15175 AO on a failure to appear. According to this, your bond is set at $10,000. Has the PD already been appointed to represent you? You have a lawyer?
I'm not sure.
You don't know? No clue, huh? Better defendant to appear. I'll take no action on the case that she's out on bond. They've got
I have,
similar case numbers.
looks like
PD appointed to that one?
we were withdrawn, Your Honor, on the 9th.
Conflict counsel?
Mhm.
Okay. Do you know who's been appointed yet?
I don't know, Your Honor. It just shows the withdrawal in our system.
All right, so your bond set at $10,000. We're gonna try and find your lawyer for you, send your lawyer to come talk to you, okay? You do have a lawyer. I just don't know who it is.
It said on my thing that I had 2 holes.
Let's see.
So if there's any way that I do pay my bond,
I don't, the only hold I have is out on bond one, which I cleared for you. Was there anything else?
No,
Nope, that was it. In the back, your name?
Jasmine Cole.
All right, you're here in 2021 CF 319A AO. It's 3 counts of violation of conditional release. According to this, your bond is set at no bond on those. I'll appoint the public defender if the public defender hasn't already been appointed, okay?
Yes, sir.
Oh, who do you have? Oh, you have a private attorney, Jose
Durant?
Durant? Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
All right, call your lawyer, let him know so he can get you a bond and get you out of here, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Your name?
Mario de la Cruz.
2022 CF 41AO, you're here on 1 count of attempted second-degree murder with a firearm, 1 count of aggravated assault with a firearm, 1 count of attempted second-degree murder with a firearm. According to your financial affidavit, sir, you do not qualify for the services of the public defender, okay? So I can't appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're here on some serious charges, so before we get started or go forward, you have a couple of options. So right now, your bond is set at no bond, okay, which means you cannot get out of jail. So the purpose of this hearing, its initial appearance, we do 2 things. 1, I review the affidavit, which I've done, and I make a determination if there was a valid reason for your arrest or probable cause, okay? And then the second thing that I do, if I find probable cause, is determine your bond and conditions of your release, all right? That being said, you have, since you do not qualify for the services of the public defender, you can go forward today without a lawyer, or I can roll this to tomorrow. You'll stay in jail. It gives you 24 hours to try and hire a lawyer and have a lawyer come and appear tomorrow with you. The issue that you run into when you represent yourself is that you obviously have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. So if you choose to represent yourself, you may say something that you might later regret. Choice is yours. It's up to you. Did you want to go forward today without a lawyer? Did you want me to roll this 24 hours for you to hire a lawyer? Do you have any questions?
I would like to hire.
I'm sorry?
So I would like to hire.
You want to hire a lawyer? Okay, so I'm gonna roll this to tomorrow, same time, same place. Whenever you get access to a phone, try and call someone that can help you get a lawyer, or call a lawyer if you know a lawyer, okay? All right, see you tomorrow. Your name?
Scott D. Woody.
All right, you're here in 2022 CF 39AO aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And you're also here in 2022 MM 35AO battery. Reviewed the affidavits, found probable cause, point the public defender. On the first case, the felony case, I will set your bond at,
Excuse me, sir. Did they ever get the video footage?
I have no idea. Do you have any other questions?
The bond?
Oh, yeah, we'll get there. I'll set your bond at $2,000 on the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, no contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. And then on the second case, I'll stay your bond at $500 with the same conditions, okay?
Okay.
Your name? Stephen. All right, you're out on bond on one count of driving while license suspended or revoked with knowledge in 2020 CT 6345AO. And you're here today in 2022 CF 31AO, driving while license suspended or revoked with knowledge. Review the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender. I'll set your bond at $2,500 on your new case. On the case that you're out on bond, I'll revoke your release and set a new bond at $3,000. Your name?
Samuel Hamilton.
All right, sir, you're out on bond in 2020 CF 10089, 18 CF 10933AO, 21 CT 8019, 21 CT 8018, 21 CT 19 again, I'm not sure why, and 21 CT 8016AO. You're here today in 22 CF 43AO, aggravated battery with a weapon and one count of battery. Review the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender, and
Your Honor, on his out on bond charges, he has been deemed incompetent to proceed. The last incompetency, he was adjudicated by Judge Bigney on December 17th. So I'd ask that you take no action. He does not meet the requirements of commitment.
on his new case, state any input with regards to release on his new case?
Your Honor, state would just ask that you stay his bonds as currently set, so the PD can file a bond motion to keep this case with his other incompetency cases.
Any input from the defense with regards to the new case?
Your Honor, doesn't qualify for control. No, Your Honor, no.
All right, I'll stay his bond on count 1 at 5,000, count 2 at 100, no contact with the alleged victim, no return, and do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. I'll take no action on the cases that he's out on, whatever form of release he's out on. All right, sir, in the back row, what's your name?
Mr. Johnson.
What's your first name?
Marcus.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if you said Mr. or Marcus.
Marcus Johnson.
All right. 22 CF 51AO, you're here on one count of carrying a prohibited weapon, carrying a weapon openly, one count of fraud, committing a felony while knowingly forcing persons to assist improperly, one count of possession of a weapon or ammo by a convicted felon, one count of fraud, engaging in an activity where a license was required, and one count of possession of a weapon or ammo violation of a final injunction against domestic violence, stalking, or cyber stalking. Review the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender, state any input with regards to release.
1 second, Your Honor. Your Honor, state we just asked for a reasonable bond as to all counts. Take into account, he does have a fairly lengthy and rather violent history, as well as several other probation violations, showing an inability to comply with court order. And there's other violations of court orders within this affidavit and the charges that he's being seen on today.
All right, and any input from the defense?
Only that his last conviction, Your Honor, was a driving while license suspended, so I just ask that you take that into consideration.
All right, count one here, carrying a prohibited weapon. I'll set your bond at 15,000 on that one. Count two, the fraud, 150. Count 3 and 4, I guess there's 2 counts of possession of a weapon or ammo, 150 on each of those. The fraud, 150, and the violation of a domestic violence, 100. No return to the scene. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons.
Yes, sir. Your Honor.
Hold on, talk to your lawyer real quick, and then if she thinks. All right, your name?
Perez Figueroa bonded.
Perez Figueroa, bonded. What's this individual's name?
Sean.
Sean, what's your last name?
Crimson.
All right, you're out on bond on a driving while license suspended, 21 CT 996 AA. You're here today in 22 CF 46 AO, resisting officer and carrying a concealed firearm. Review the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender, and count one I'll set at $100 or stay at $100, and then count two. I'll set it $1,500. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons unless you do it legally. All right, thank you. All right, ma'am.
Your Honor, he's out on bond.
Oh, it's yet on, oh, no. Have you filed on that case?
A dwellis. Your Honor, it's a dwellis, so it's a citation.
Your Honor, I would ask that you take no action, given it's a nonviolent offense.
I'll revoke his release and I'll set a new bond of 2,000. All right. All right, ma'am, your name? Your name, ma'am?
Sharon
And your last name, Sharon?
Strother.
Thank you. 22 CF 234 AO, burglary of an unoccupied structure, possession of drug equipment, cocaine, and criminal mischief, molesting a coin-operated machine. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender, and I'll stay your bonds. Thank you. Is that it?
Lamar Thompson is in the hospital.
All right, Thompson, 22 CF 36 AO, temporarily appoint the PD waiver role.
I'll reset, given it's a punishable by life.
All right, we'll reset him 24 hours from his release.
It was a hospital?
Yeah. Is that everybody?
That's everybody, Your Honor.
All right.